So what you're saying is this engine's worth at least $50,000? Come on, I can't wait to meet these guys and see this place.
Guys, what's happening?
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. Good to have you in, man.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, you guys too picked a good rainy day to come. How's the drive?
Perfect. It was a good drive.
Yeah.
Perfect day, man. It's beautiful outside.
Well, welcome to Wheels Through Time. You guys have never been here before, right?
Never.
Right.
Awesome. 375 of the world's rarest bikes, and everything's American made. Everything runs.
That's the coolest part. Like, literally, you can go and fire up any bike in here.
That's amazing.
So we talked on the phone. You know, we got a WLA we're working on. You're the expert. We need guidance. We need help to figure out which way we should go with this.
Sure.
Tell us what we have, because we're getting mixed signals from what we actually have, and then we'd love to take the engine apart and dive into that. I think you said you can help us out with finding some parts too.
Yeah, you know, depending on what direction you want to go would be what parts we can help you with. Well, cool, man. You want to get that thing unloaded?
Yeah, we'll meet you back there.
All right, I'll meet you.
So we decided to drive 10 hours away to Some Carolina, where Matt, the expert from Wheels Through Time, with one of the coolest motorcycle collections ever, was going to tell us exactly what was going on with our WLA motorcycle build. And I can't wait to see what he tells us about it. Well, I guess first thing is we're getting some different information on this motor.
On your engine? Let's get it up on the bench over here.
Let's figure out what it is, because one guy was really quick to make me an offer on it,
Really?
but wouldn't tell me what it was worth.
Yep. Tough guy. All right. I love it.
He was a nice fella, but I think he really wanted this motor really badly. And the one thing we did learn about this is it is matching case numbers.
Match case numbers. Okay. Yeah. First things first, you know, for the guys that know what they're looking at, this is one of two things. It's either a racing top end or it's a WLD top end. So you guys got a WLA. Starts with the W model or WL model, and all the letters mean something, right? So W is 45 cubic inch, and if it's just a W on the model, it's 45 inch medium compression. If it's a WL, it's 45 inch high compression. A WLA was WL Army. WLD, the D is high performance. And then they had WLDRs, and then they had WRs.
They had a DD, right?
Which is also a 1 year only model. So the cylinders, the difference, guys, what you're looking at here for both you guys, the fins here are considerably larger than a stock pair of cylinders.
Is that a set right there?
Yeah, so like this one here, let me pull this off. What you're looking at here, and you can see it's right in this area. They're called big fin cylinders because right in here they're straight.
These go in.
These go in, so bigger fins for better cooling.
Is that what's going on here too?
So, well, and that's aluminum heads. So these are earlier, and these are very similar to everything they ran all the way up through on the non-high performance stuff. A WLA would have cylinders a lot like this or like these with the small fins. You've got
So we knew that our engine was something special, but we didn't actually know how special it was. But now that we got this engine to Matt, he's gonna finally tell us how special this bike and the engine really is.
This looks like a 41 cylinder. This looks like a 39 cylinder. And they all go together. So it's kind of tough to tell, but they got tall bases, see? And if you got a big cylinder base, then it's a racing cylinder. Oh yeah, that's definitely a race cylinder. Wow, that's cool. 580, 575 or thereabouts. So yeah, dude, you're picking them good right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
You know, right off the bat. That's a.
So you're saying this is an R? These are R cylinders?
They would be R cylinders. When we take this and look.
Let's take it apart.
These are
So for all the motorcycle experts out there commenting on our videos, can you confirm that what we're doing is not destroying Harley Davidson or the history of Harley Davidson?
See, here's the thing. They made a lot of those bikes.
Right.
So you guys aren't taking apart something that's 101. You're not taking apart something that's completely original. You know, if his bike's original paint this and it doesn't show signs that haven't been modified or shows signs of being well preserved, like guys like really went to great efforts to preserve that factory first paint, you know, that's one thing, but your bike was modified when you got it. Yeah, it had character, but who's to say that it's not going to have more character when you're done with it?
Last week we took the heads off, but we didn't go far enough to really see what else may have been done to this engine. We are also unaware of any damage or excessive wear that this motor might have, which could cause this build to get really expensive or bring it to a halt.
The way that you lower compression on a flathead, you've got your combustion chamber here, is you just raise this up. So like you can lower the compression by putting 2 head gaskets on it. These have been milled to where they've brought the head down and they look a lot like number 6 heads. So again, one more sign that the thing's been worked on. You're not taking unmodified parts. It looks like you got what we're looking for is a number on the top of that piston, so that'll give you an idea of how many times. See, what's that, a 50? So 50 over. You know, usually you go 10 at a time. These could have been rebuilt 5 times.
But now we know it's been bored 40,
yeah,
50 over.
Yeah, it's 50 over. It says
wow.
That's a 50 is the 50. Yeah, it says right here. I'll take
we just didn't scratch
just
off.
didn't scratch enough.
We didn't scratch off enough.
Well, that's why we drove 10 hours.
Cool stuff inside. The board looks pretty good. What we'll do is we'll get a... Well, we know it was running when you pulled it.
Yeah.
You rode it home.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, man. Not a lot of guys have the guts to do that.
I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's guts as
not
much
smart.
as gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough, right?
It was way cool. You were running pretty rich here, you know. It's just
I knew it wasn't running the way it should have been.
But what you got, it's not a WR cylinder, so this would be like 1939 to 41 Harley Davidson WLDR cylinders. So for some perspective,
LDR.
WLDR cylinders, thick base racing cylinder. Little bit of porting and relieving here. It'll be neat to take this off and see what the insides look like. Standard size valves. So the thing about these cylinders, in racing applications, they did intake head gaskets. Your heads don't have that big wide surface.
That's why I needed the gasket.
That's why they use the gasket.
Now this is a bigger intake than a normal.
That's the size of a UL intake, so that is slightly bigger than a WLA.
This would have been a bear to take off with a water pump pliers, eh?
Yeah, no doubt. Whew. It'll be interesting to see how, you know, you got 50 over pistons in there, but your bore might be 70.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
What's good though is that these 45 cylinders, you can bore them to like 100 over.
Really?
There's a lot of meat.
So how rare are these
That's
cylinders?
See, I never got to that. I was going to tell you, like, these cylinders are probably worth, double maybe what one of these engines unstock would be. You know, it's a $3,500 pair of cylinders.
Wow.
You know, realistically, they're unobtainium, which is why whoever was looking at that video that made you the offer on them,
yeah.
Sorry, dude, knew what he was looking at from the big fins.
Right.
And with the big fins, even the non-racing ones are rare enough, but the race ones are particularly rare.
And he wanted to trade us a titled motor.
You know, it's precision work, and that was probably an honest offer. My goodness, that sucker's been on there a long time.
It's that awesome.
As we start peeling this off, and I might hand you guys a valve cover wrench, and you can start taking these valve covers off, and take them valve covers off, and then we'll get to see what your connecting rods feel like. You know,
oh, cool.
Let's go ahead and pop the cylinders off. We got the manifold off.
This is what you're calling the valve cover?
Yeah. Valve spring cover anyway. Valve cover, valve spring cover.
So that's on push rods.
They're not really push rods because it's a flathead. So flatheads don't have push rods. They've got lifters.
Now, should we replace this one because it's got a busted fin?
Nah. Fins are cosmetic. You know, you find something with 10 broken fins.
Oh, really?
It's worth doing, but these I wouldn't even sweat.
Is that one broken, or is that supposed to be like?
That's got a little relief in it, but it looks like it was done that way. I can't tell if it's, I mean, it wasn't like that from the factory, but I can't tell if they did that on purpose. It's going to be interesting to see what the difference in the piston size and your bore is. That'll kind of give you an indication on how long this thing was run since the last time it was rebuilt. That ain't bad. Lifter adjustment is pretty decent. Okay. Oh yeah. That's actually pretty good adjustment, man. You know, that looks like it might be, the exhausts are 6 to 8, intakes are like 4 to 6. So your intake actually might have been a little tight. Wow, man, this thing's been together a long time. You're strong.
You so strong.
You're so strong. My goodness, this one's gonna need a hammer or some heat.
This one doesn't really fit in there very well.
Yeah, here you go. How many times have you rode a foot clutch before this one?
Oh, never.
That was your first time?
First time,
See?
yeah.
Boom. All right, here we go. Man, that don't look too bad.
No, a little
Wow.
heat.
Yeah. And the rings look nice. Look at that.
That's
It's
interesting.
Still sharp, yep. Here, and it looks pretty nice and fresh. Wow.
It started burning a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, they always look like that. Yeah, the rings, man, there's no major grooves in the bore. You can see a little bit of wear, but the intake nipple may have been replaced at some point. At some point, they might have had to like bunged up those threads or something and replaced that intake nipple. And
When you
that's
say intake nipple.
the nipple, this piece here screws steel intake nipple.
Okay. So everything looked good
that's
after
all it
pulling
is.
off the
This is
first
heat treated,
cylinder.
and those
So the
look really
issue
good.
with
A
this
lot of
motor
times
must lie in the other cylinder. Hopefully it's not too bad and it's something that we could fix.
Yeah. Those rods are polished. Cool.
Is there a broken ring? There is.
Is it?
Yep.
There we go.
That's in the oil ring.
And then what's up with?
That's okay. Don't look too bad in there. Realistically, yeah, broken ring.
I mean, that makes sense seeing the valves
That's
and
well,
stuff.
right. That's why that one was super smoky.
And it would also explain some of the play.
Yeah, well, you know what we haven't done yet is see and find out what the difference in piston size versus bore size. Yeah.
You said the rods were polished.
The rods are polished. Stock rod, you can see all the raised casting area there.
yeah.
You know, they're as cast finished, big and thick out on the sides. You've got casting numbers inside of there. Where this rod, you can see it looks like, you know, it's really smooth there.
So that would be done for balance.
No, they're just doing that for oil. You know, it's just a slicker engine. Polish the rods. It's weird. There's kind of some varying thoughts on that. When you polish something, you know, there's a lot of things that polishing things just, you know, it's like with a gun. The action's just smoother. You know, old-timey hot rod trick, and that's nice.
Are those bushings or bearings on
This
the big
bearing's on the big end of the
Bearings
rod, and
on the
that's
big
like
end.
perfect. Wow, this is going to be like, you know, I can't guarantee anything, but when we take this apart and rebuild this, the odds are I'll pull these rods and take them right over to the hone and make a quick pass through just to make sure that it's round and not oval from use, and probably step up one bearing size. The bearing sizes are in 2/10,000ths of an inch, so visually
we're
impossible
talking
to see.
Human hair is.
Every once in a while you talk to a old engine builder that says he can feel the difference between bearing sizes, which
Those are the guys that don't use hammers on their wrenches, right?
yeah, really cool though. So what you got is good feel up top. Might be worth, you know, once we get to that measuring, it might be worth replacing the wrist pin bushings and rehoning them to make them perfect, but it's certainly not wore out. The lower end, the rods there feel fantastic. I mean, just awesome. Gonna be cool to see what cams are in it here. That's the next step, is to pull this off.
So what you're saying is this engine's worth at least $50,000.
Maybe take a zero off of that. Maybe take a zero off.
$500,000.
But it's a lot for a 45 motor. I mean, that's my old racing engine. That's, check that out, watch this. It's ball bearing left case, Torrington bearing right case. It's got radial thrust bearings in it.
Oh, yeah.
You can breathe on those rods and that thing just spins and spins and spins, and then it'll hit the heavy spot and come back and go back.
I just want one of those to sit on my
Less
desk.
resistance. Oh man, that is one slick motor. There's a Torrington bearing, which is a It's like a cage needle roller bearing,
Oh, okay.
a cage needle bearing, a full complement needle bearing. And then normal crank pin bearings, and then there's a self-aligning ball bearing on the left, and then radial thrust bearings that instead of just a normal, yeah, here you go.
I can't do it with mine.
In fact, we can take these off and feel what it feels like. Let's pull that cam cover and see what your cams look like.
Yes.
Because that could have some hot rod stuff in there. What do the points look like, too? Did you guys ever check the points even when you fired it up?
Nope.
Nice.
Didn't even check the oil.
Nice original stuff.
We checked the oil. We checked the points.
We checked the oil.
And all this working on motorcycles really reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses, 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient, love is kind and not jealous. Love does not brag and is not arrogant.
Spins nice and free, nothing wrong there.
You ever smell dirt that smells like crayon?
It does smell like Crayola.
People were speculating where that may have came from. It's coming.
It's coming.
I see stuff.
Yeah, you can see the gears all look nice and clean, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Boom. Awesome.
Wow.
Good stuff. Looky there, man. Everything looks really nice, you know. There's no wear on those.
It's got 4 different cams?
Yeah, 4 cam models. So rear exhaust, rear intake, front intake, front exhaust. You got all the shims still on there.
Quad cam.
Quad cam, same as the Sportster. So this right here, we're gonna keep all this pretty close to assembled.
Are those marked?
Yeah, they're marked cams, but you can, oh, they are hot cams.
Dun, dun, dun.
Cool. Yeah, they look like high duration. Oh, that's cool.
I was gonna say, how'd you know? What'd you see?
This lobe is wide.
They're saying it's haunted.
It's haunted. So what you're looking at here is.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you can see it right off the bat. This cam is number 4. So we'll go apples to apples here, and you see how much. Get that
it's
shim off.
almost like square on the top.
Yeah, it's square on the top. That's big and wide. Like what you're looking at is the top of these two, real skinny. So what you've got here is more duration. It either opens earlier, closes later, or both. It'd be real interesting to check the lift out too, just for the hell of it. Yeah, so you got 1 inch, 285 minus 970. And there's your lift.
315
315 lift. So here we got, oh yeah, it's a higher lift by a little bit. Yeah, 345 thousandths lift. Yeah, so what do you got? An extra 30 thousandths lift and a ton more duration on the intakes and exhaust. A lot of times you just see, or the intakes that are the hot cams, but this one's got hot intakes and hot exhaust. These are probably WLDR cams. So the odds are this very well could have been a WLDR.
It's a 3-bolt frame.
It's a 3-bolt frame.
3-bolt frame.
Okay. Could have been a 40 WLDR. Could
Really?
have been a 41 WLDR. The cams that match the cylinders, which the cylinder, the earliest one is dated at 331.9. The earliest cylinder's in 1939. So it's possible that they could have had a 39 or something WLDR motor, a 40 WLDR motor, 41, blown up the cases, and replaced it with these. So maybe it never was a WLA. Maybe it was. We could probably look at some of your other parts.
So there are casting notes on the frames?
There are numbers on the frame that should tell you what year it is. See, that all feels real nice too.
Would the archive guy at Harley Davidson be able to tell us more about that?
Yeah, he'd be able to probably tell you more about it. But
you ever talk to him?
Yeah, Bill Redensel?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill's a great guy.
Well, let's go look at the rest of the
Man.
parts,
Yeah,
see
let's
what we
look
got.
at your parts. Way cool, man. That's awesome. Good find on the motor.
Stoked.
So to our surprise, the WLA motor is a pretty big deal, and we're super pumped, and I'm glad we decided to keep it. Our man Matt from Wheels Through Time is gonna rebuild it, and stay tuned for next week. We have a lot more fun stuff with this project.